Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 238 of the Fans of Power podcast. I'm Nathan Kennedy, joined as always by the mass man himself, Joe Spamato, and Tyler Baker. Gentlemen, how we doing this weekend? Everybody doing okay?
Yeah, why not?
I just noticed my camera's froze, but otherwise I'm doing fantastic.
Maybe it'll go back to normal. Oh, there we go.
That's
now
okay.
It's back, and now Tyler's camera's screwed up again. I've been fighting with this the whole time.
Well, as long as I can dish out my most acidic comments to piss people off, that's all that matters, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Let's get to
I was gonna say,
Joe,
Joe, I gotta mess with Tyler's camera and get it figured out.
Yeah, just in case you're wondering what was going on, yeah, there's issues with the camera right now, but it doesn't matter. We're still going to be doing the show. But yeah, before we got going, Nathan was like, God damn it. He was like, what is going on with this camera? And it would go crazy again and again. No big deal. But while he's adjusting the cameras, let me just say hello to everybody that's here. See Zentron, Febmon, Jason Havlick, Papa Hud 69, Zen Brown, Grimbot, Adam Gabbert, Rick Poe, yes, Nathan, I forgot to do what you always told me. Darth Baca,
Shocker.
Fedmon, Jason, I said him already. Brian Davis, JSP, Carlos. Carlos, one day you're gonna have to just message me on Facebook how to say your last name so I don't butcher it anymore. But Carlos is here too, and Jaime Mares. I think it's Jaime, and I don't think it's Jamie. That could be another one I butcher. I'm just butchering everybody today. And Michael Purvis. There, I think I got one right.
Michael Purvis is a pretty easy name to pronounce, Joe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Jamie, I think.
Well, you know what's weird is there was a long time ago, there was a customer.
He may contact me later on this week and say, dude, what the hell? You don't know how to pronounce my name? Like, well, because I assumed, so.
And that's what, you know what? I hope he puts it down here, like, correct me. Is it Jamie or Jaime? And the reason I say Jaime is there was somebody I did a custom for a while back. I thought his name was Jamie, and it was Jaime. So, go figure. But I think I got everybody in the chat room either way. And what we're doing this week, obviously, I mean, we'll be talking about PowerCon reveals and Monstroid and other stuff. But, yeah, we didn't do PowerCon last week because, well, to be honest, before it came up, I didn't even know. I forgot because, you know, just how the world is and everything's going on. I didn't know what was happening. And I was like, no, I'm not going to deviate from what we were saying. We had a focus on the Toy Fair tussle. That's what we stuck with. That was a blast last week, by the way. And it seemed like everybody enjoyed it, too. So it's like, we'll save PowerCon for next week. So now we're doing it. Wait a second. He said it's Jaime or Jaime. Yeah, good. All right. Then I was right. Thanks for son of a bitch. But, yeah, so we have, like I said, these few topics, but all right, I wanted to say one thing about these Origins figures before we start getting into the PowerCon reveals. Like I said, I know that I was real critical, and I have every right to be, when I was talking about like that first wave with that Skeletor head and that He-Man head, because just to me they were abysmal, and that's why I did a different evil-looking Skeletor head. I thought it made it look better. He-Man, I never got to him to do anything, but you never know. It's not. I'm not saying me. I'm just saying the whole community itself. If they're constructive with what they say without, you know, like being dicks to everybody and nasty, sometimes maybe they can hear you, because what's interesting is these deluxe, the deluxe figures we'll be talking about later, they have two new completely different heads. And thank God, because the ones they were atrocious. I hated them. But here's the next thing I want to say. I want to talk about Battle Cat. Just wanted to show something. I'm going to show both. I'm going to show first, you know, vintage Battle Cat as we know and love, and that iconic pose. Sure. He doesn't have any posability, but he's an awesome-looking sucker. Well, I was able to find, as I posted online, the Origins one. I don't know what it is. This mask, first, I don't like this inside. The mask doesn't hug like the original did. The face is actually somehow smaller in the side jowls. Something was just off, but I'll tell you the thing that really pisses me off beyond the bright color, and the reason I'm saying is, hopefully maybe the voices that people are hearing. Okay, everybody's like, okay,
the voices that people are hearing makes it sound like you're.
I'm sure Joe's probably assuming that everyone's hearing the voices that he hears in his head.
Yeah, you ain't shitting. But okay, they say, well, this one's got a lot of posability. Okay, it's got a posable tail. It's got the posable back legs in front. But can I ask you something? It's time for my first F-bomb in 3 weeks. What the fuck does this mean? How are you going to pose him standing like this? That's what I mean. When he's sitting, he's going to be on his paws like this.
The rest of his upper leg doesn't move? Like, that's as far as it goes?
Well, here's the thing. Even if I do this, pose this leg, again, What is this doing when you don't have ankle articulation? If they would have had this articulated, he could have not only recreated the original pose, but some badass poses. But when you say, hey, he's got posability in his front paws, but what's the fucking point? If you sit this on the ground, he's going to just fall. It's not going to even make sense. So why would you not have, put the ankle articulation? I'm saying this now because, like I said, maybe they'll listen. Change this shit. This means nothing. There is no logic of posability in this when, what the fuck does that mean when you put them down? Nothing. It's moronic. I'm just being honest. This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen when you don't have the ankles posed. What's the sense?
I
Hope you guys are listening. Maybe you'll change this into a second version, but give him posable ankles. God forbid. Fucking done. That was so stupid.
I've seen stuff on Reddit and in the groups and communities about Walmart actually putting out end caps that have the other figures in them, but guess what? It's a shitload of He-Man and Skeletor, so they've learned absolutely nothing when that gets moved out, because what they'll do is they'll gradually break down that end cap, I would think, and move it over to the peg if there's no, if it's sort of empty. And then what's going to happen? It's going to get clogged with He-Man and Skeletor. And then the way that Walmart's system works is they base the reordering, and Target does this too, they base the reordering off of what sells. So it'll say, here's X amount of inventory that we have. This is how much the modular asks for. Here's the max capacity. If that's just cluttered with He-Man and Skeletor, guess what? The system's not going to know to order more. So it'll just be there. Now, if people are buying them up, then sure, it'll keep going. But I have yet to find anything. No G.I. Joes around here. No Masters of the Universe, nothing. I don't know if they've been stocked at any point around here and it's just gone and doing all right, but I haven't seen a single thing.
I don't think it, honestly, I'll be honest, I don't think it popped up there. Like I said, I was lucky enough, the Walmart I went to, just to let you guys know, and I'm sure others have experienced this as well. You go down the aisle, and it's all the pegs for everything. For He-Man, Skeletor, Teela, Beastman, all of them, the Sky Sled, and Battle Cat. None of them are out, though. So I called an employee over, and I asked them, I was like, okay, can you see if these are in stock? And they scanned each one of them. They said, nothing there, nothing there. And then they scanned for Battle Cat. They said, oh, it says we have them, but it's somewhere in the warehouse. I was like, is there a way you can find out? They actually told me no. They scanned for Sky Sled. They said it's somewhere in the warehouse. They couldn't check for that either. They said, come back in 2 days. I came back in 2 days. They scanned and they said, okay, Battle Cat shows it's in a location in the warehouse. I can find that for you. We still don't know where Sky Sled is. So they have things ready, but some even said they're going through remodels at all their stores, and this is in a lot of locations. So they told me for the regular figures, they said come back August 29th. But the places across the United States that have been getting them, they've been selling like nuts. In fact, the end caps that you were talking about, the special modulars and all that stuff that have a lot of Skeletors and He-Mans, some people have actually bought those from the employees to take home, and so some of them are just already getting those the hell out the store, which you think, well, that's a good way of advertising He-Man. Now it's gone. Somebody bought it at home, which is still cool, but they're selling. But the thing is, I was scared. And like I said, I'm scared about the He-Man and Skeletor of people that might have been leery of the looks of them. But from what I've seen in the group, people really don't care. They just want them. They're rabid about it. It's great. But I just want good quality. The Battle Cat scares me, which leads to the Origins line. Before they showed these reveals, I think it was announced about Panther.
Yeah.
And that's when I told Nathan last week I actually lost my shit.
Did you guys get attacked for your views on this? Did you guys people come after you because you trashed Origins, you fucking asshole.
I didn't. It wasn't an attack, but I made that post in our group and I said, "Boy, that looks like shit," right? Because Joe didn't want to outright say it, and I was like,
I don't want to do it. Yeah, because I was angry.
Why do you do that though, Joe?
Well, here's the thing.
Are you genuinely afraid of pissing off somebody that just says, I'm going to off myself because Joe didn't like something?
I was so angry last week when I seen Panther, because they originally, when they first showed him, they didn't even mention about the flocked one. This was before the panels, and you got to see Panther unflocked. I lost it. I was screaming at Nathan. I screamed at Grimbot. I was like, I don't want to do it tonight. I said, because I want to focus everything on the Toy Fair tussle, and I want no negativity. I said, I'm going to rip into this. And then what happens? They show the Origins reveal, and they show a flocked one. Because earlier, before they did that, they said, well, we don't know if we can flock it. And I was like, what is the logic? What makes Panther special is his flocking. That's what made him unique and not just a purple battle cat back in the day. So I was like, why can't you flock him? Because they were like, oh, it's the articulation. I was like, I'll flock that sucker. But then they showed the power con reveals and showed they are doing a flocked one. I was like, well, good. But what's the sense of the non-flocked one? Don't even release it. It makes no sense. It's like, I don't want to buy an unflocked and a flocked one. But the things, as they started showing the reveals, I was like, okay, now you guys seem like you're getting something right. It's like, you had the stupid Skeletor and He-Man heads, and I was thinking, we're going to be stuck with these two heads for every wave, like the Battle Armors and the Thunder Punch. I was like, we're going to get the same heads, but they got rid of those shit heads. And I was like, not only did they make two heads that are different, that you get two for each, but they're deluxe figures, and they finally brought back action features. And I was like, cool, not the stupid change out the plates, but boom, action features. Ram Man will have it. Clamp Champ's going to have his stuff. And I was like, it's like, I felt in my mind, is there a whole new team working on this? I was like, because it seems like it's night and day. The first wave was stuff that pissed a lot of people off. It's like, then I see people that were angry like me, saying, well, that shit looks good. Why couldn't you start it off like that? Because they do have a good set of stuff coming, which when Nathan starts popping them on screen, I was like, that's how you should have did it from the beginning. Because it wasn't a first good impression for some of us fans. Again, a lot of fans, they didn't give a shit. They're like, I'm buying regardless. But people like me, Tyler, we're not saying this to be assholes. We're saying it because we're so passionate about this brand that we love. We're like, why would you have the lead hero and villain have such shitty looking faces for this new line that you're pushing? Yeah. It's like, and then you wait to wave 3 and you somehow get it right? I don't know, but I'll pass it. But I just didn't get it. It was like,
where I posted that and the response was like, is it because it's not flocked? And I was like, I mean, honestly, no. To me, the face looked shitty. It looked cheap. Maybe it's the way that they took the picture of it. It just looked really cheap. And they're like, oh, it's the flocking. It's the flocking. I was like, no, but I mean, they didn't do anything really to distinguish it from just being like a purple painted battle cat. So yes, the flocking does set it apart, but they could have done anything else and not flocked it, and I wouldn't have given two shits. But it was funny when people were like, oh, it's because it's not flocked. I'm like, no, it's not. It just didn't distinguish itself from Battle Cat. Like, what would keep me from like, oh, I find two Battle Cats, so I'm at Walmart. Well, I can just buy them both and paint one purple. Boom, done. I got a Panther now. Like that's
exactly.
That's all that was.
You're right. That's why it wasn't special to me to just see a purple Battle Cat. I was like, it meant nothing. Like some people said, well, you know, the flock, it'll wear off. I'll tell you what, I still got my Panther from my childhood in back of me. Every bit of that fucking flock is still there.
That's just from people that didn't take care of their shit when they were kids. That's all that is. Like, the three of us always took care of our toys. If you take care of your toys, guess what? They'll still be in pretty good shape.
And you know we're going to do it now as adults. Like, now I doubt we're going to be playing with them like we did when we were kids. So if we took care of them as good as we did when we were kids, now as adults, we like posing or putting them up on the shelves. So obviously the flock isn't going to get worn off. But that's what made him special and a little unique beyond just being a purple Battle Cat. So no, when that unflocked one comes out, I'm not getting it because it makes absolutely no sense. And the other one, it's $10 more, which I'm like, $10 more for flock? That's
ridiculous.
Pricey.
It's fucking ridiculous. Tyler, do you need me to send you these images that I got up on the screen so you can kind of see them all?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Well, I got them up there. It's going to cycle through like sort of fast, but the more and more we talk about it, the more people... Well, most of you guys, I imagine, have already seen this already.
Yeah, some may have, and some, you know, you're right, maybe they didn't. But as you can find out that, yes, you know, they will be at Target and other retailers, you know, retailers as well. And some will have exclusives, as you've seen with the Target one. And like I said, it looks like they're getting, for me, I was getting excited. When I seen the Masterverse, the Evolution of the He-Man one, the ones that'll be from the new, based off the new cartoon, I was like, well, cool. These ones are going to be for another type of collector line. But that one, yeah, right there, that Panther just looks, I mean, just honestly, can you look at it and say, wow, that looks cool? It's like, no, it's plain. And here's another thing. Mattel, if you're listening, make the new generation like Stratos and give him a fucking weapon. If this guy comes with no weapon like the original Stratos, I'm like, Jesus Christ. It would drive me nuts. Landshark, I was like, thank God, you guys didn't give us Roton yet again. Like, oh, here he's in the Magic X, he's in this line and this line. Bam, Landshark, and he moves and has his gimmick cool. Ram Man, a deluxe figure, 2 heads, he has the spring loaded. It's like, you're getting some shit right now. The Keldor and Cronus, like, I'll get it. I'm not doing backflips over that. I'll get it, but I'm not flipping. But I was super excited with the battle armor features. Knowing Clamp Champ, we're getting them this early. It's like, thank God, because I was like, what if the line, just was canceled? We never got them. The ones I don't know if you've seen, Nathan. I don't know if we've seen it in the slideshow, but was Ninjor with Roboto and all of them? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I got that up here. Okay. They're right there with Merman and Stratos.
So it looks like they put some good. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I'm not. The one thing that really sticks out in this is the battle armor He-Man just looks really.
Looks like dog shit. Absolutely.
He looks like
shit, man.
It's weird. Like he.
That is the most disproportionate figure I've seen out of this entire debacle that Mattel's doing.
Does it look skinny to you? If that is that.
My God, he's just help. A lot of these figures, like their arms, like go down to their kneecaps. Like these figures are so disproportionate. Skeletor looks fine, but He-Man, like, oh my God, like he has like this like extremely like shrunken body, and he's got that goofy ass new sculpt head, and then he's got something that's supposed to resemble the vintage head, and they're going to charge more money so you can get an extra head and this battle feature. This is not targeted towards children here, people. This is clearly an adult line. So any asshole that's out there saying, well, this stuff ain't meant for you. Like, this is meant for, adults. Like, you don't charge this kind of money for children's toys. So
look at the and tell me, Tyler, when you look at it, if you still have the battle armor He-Man up.
Yeah, I got it.
For some reason, when I look at him and I look at Skeletor, I don't know why, but yes, Skeletor looks better. But when I look at He-Man, for some reason, the battle armor in the middle looks small. Like, it doesn't look like it fits and it's wide enough. Like, I feel like if they widen that, and I think that gives this weird kind of
like his chest is small. Like, he's too small. His whole body, it's like they used a different sculpt for his body armor than they did with Skeletor's. It's like the same. Like, obviously they're different, but they're essentially the same armor. So who the hell knows? Maybe someone I don't know. At this point, you just it looks like shit. It's possible.
What do you think of Keldor and Cronus? What are your thoughts on that 2-pack?
I'm like, I don't care. I'm really shocked that Mattel who is just like, oh my God, like 2000X, we don't repeat 2000X, and here it is right out of the gate. They threw out the 2000X, which, I mean, I'm sure the people who were just like, oh my God, like, I can't believe it. I just came all over myself, and then when I think I had any more, I did it again. It's just, I'm not impressed with any of this stuff, people. Like, to essentially get this Keldor and this Cronus here, it's like just getting a shrunk down version of the one I got over here on the shelf. It's not different enough. Like, there should be some modifications to these characters and not just a cheap looking version of the classics figures, which is really, in a nutshell, that's all this is. It's a cheap, smaller version of this wonderful line that we have all collected here. And this is not me on my soapbox saying, I want classics to come back, and this is why. Like, of course, it shouldn't have been canceled. This is just not impressive. Joe is on the money for all this stuff. In fact, he's not being harsh enough. And Nathan, I'm like, yeah, I'm with both you guys, and I know there's some people out there. At certain times, we get excited about certain stuff and don't want to admit that it's not very good. But you're so wrapped up in the hype, it'd be blasphemous to admit that you don't like what you're seeing there because you're so excited and you don't want this to be anything less than A+ all around.
I think, honestly, for me, the main reason I want, like, if I come across them, I am going to buy them. It's honestly mostly just the box art. Like, I'll keep them in package, I guess, and just admire, like, the art that's on there. Like, I think the Battle Cat box looks fantastic. I like the box art a lot. It's just what's inside is kind of weird. Like, Clamp Champ's right up here on the screen for a second, and it just looks like right there in the groin where the legs are attaching to the body, something just seems a little off to me. And I don't know anything about this Masterverse evolution of He-Man line that they're doing here. $20, 7-inch scale. But it's kind of funny that they didn't actually show anything. It's just, oh, here's silhouettes, so we don't know what those look like. Maybe
Well, the reason they're not
see,
showing
I
is there
thought that
still
was
hasn't
tied
been
to
any
the
cartoon
Revolution
images.
I thought that was the new cartoon toy line.
It is. It's tied to that. That's
Okay.
why they didn't show anything. Yeah, that's why there was.
So why
nothing
the hell they
shown on
call it
those.
Masterverse: The Evolution of He-Man? Like,
I don't
I can
know.
see why that would mislead
I-
people. And then very small, you've got that that ugly ass, cheap looking, logo for the new cartoon. Like, I mean, that's the one I'm more interested in because obviously it's going to be new sculpts. It's not going to be the same damn figure over again. What if the cartoon is dog shit, which probably will have an effect on what I feel about these toys, but that's what I'm more interested in because it's something different. You're going to see Beastman, hopefully looking like Beastman, but just modified, more kind of like what the feeling was when we got the 2000X line. It was the designs we're all familiar with, but just modified in a very edgy way. Not in some over-the-top anime bullshit or something like that.
Like I'll admit, like when the 2000X figures came out, I loved them because they were all different. They didn't reuse the same sculpts and the same buck over and over.
But it was everything you were familiar with, but like you knew that was Whiplash. You knew that was Beastman. You knew that was Merman. Like there was no question, and it was so different, but the same. And that's what I feel like. This is just this really has to be a line for people who don't have a He-Man collection and want to buy something. I don't get the logic in it other than getting new fans or people who don't have the money to purchase any of this stuff, which I can see classics. Nathan's a victim of that. It's pretty much, I guess, the only way to get people to collect He-Man is to do this and it just really doesn't look like Mattel's put a whole lot of effort into it. I mean,
well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm not like I said, I'm in a way disagree with some of that to the extent of now. Of course, the Retroverse or Masterverse ones are going to be different, but this Origins line, especially like I said, when it came to the deluxe, I mean, I'm giving them credit because not only, like I said, it's not just getting basically the vintage figures, but now with more articulation, which you can say that to some degree. But you're right, a new generation and also us, it's getting more articulation, more types of weapons, but to know that they're finally bringing back action features, like, not only is that a plus just for people who like us or like me like to reminisce, but for the kids who might really want to play with this, knowing that Ram Man, I got to give it to him. That Ram Man compared to the vintage one, I told you, I hated the vintage Ram Man because first he just looked like crap and it seemed like his spring feature just barely worked, but this sucker not only has all this articulation, he is going to have the spring. Clamp Champ, his heads, one of them, for some reason, it kind of almost reminds me of like one of the pieces of art. It's not just the vintage Clamp Champ head, and it's also not the kind of like classics head where he has lots of wrinkles and looks aged. It has somewhat of a look that reminds me of like a comic. I like the look of the two heads. So, I mean, I'm impressed what they're doing with it when it comes to Wave 3. And just to know that hopefully above and beyond, when they do get to characters like Snout Spout, he will have his squirt feature. Dragon Blaster Skeletor will have his. Thunder Punch, maybe he'll actually pop and have the crack like the snap, the cap guns. It gets me excited for the kids, but also for me, because I'll admit that's the one thing on classics I wished we could have had, but I know they said that was a specialty line, they're expensive, it would have cost way too much to add action features, and I completely understood that. So a little part of my childhood was like, fuck, no action features. And I
but
damn
these
sure
things would be $20 for action features. Like this is not for kids. Like no child is going to successfully get this from their parent on a regular basis at a $20 price range. Absolutely not.
I don't know. They buy the little shits all those games. You never know. Maybe this will shut them up.
But that's why I'm saying, like, $20, that's not the target price for children's toys, even though children's toys have gone up the ass since we were all kids, of course. But,
for me, I guess the reason that makes
$25, $30, like,
well, I would think, like, the deluxe ones, like I said, I know they're 19, and then the regular ones without the, the action features are 14. But, I mean, hell, honestly, I told you, that's why I couldn't do classics no more, is as the prices increased, because remember, that was a specialty line you could order. You can go in the stores. But the prices were going up, the tax, the shipping. It's like I was paying almost $40 for a figure. I was like, I can't do this no more. But something from 14 to 19, that's like, I can afford this. And also, like, the Masterverse ones, that's why I'm shocked. they're only going to be 19, and they're going to be probably a little slightly taller than Classics line. So, I mean, I guess let's just see what they can do. But I see a better future though with it. Hopefully, with what I seen in this third wave, because I was slightly, well, you heard me. I was depressed with Wave 1, and Wave 2 looked like some cool stuff. But I was really depressed. But this future waves, it's like they look like maybe they're finally learning from, hopefully, stuff that we say. Like even the things I'm saying, and the stuff you say, Tyler, hopefully that'll go into their heads and maybe make them think about stuff. But at least it gets
hell, Mattel ain't listening to any of us on this podcast. And for God's sake, people just, they don't. If they were, our podcast would be growing by leaps and bounds. And they're not going to listen to three guys sitting in their respective houses with no production value or anything like that. We're just three grown men.
There's a little bit of production value. I take umbrage with that, you dick.
Well, yes.
Poor Nathan. Aww.
I'm talking about, like, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
yes, Nathan
I
makes the podcast so much more prettier. Yes, of course, but no, nobody at Mattel, not Kevin Smith or anybody that has the rights to work on this property is listening to anything that we're saying. Maybe Joe, because Joe's the Mr. Nice Guy and stuff like that. But I just,
the thing that I come out of this with is most of the stuff looks pretty good. Obviously, the Flocked Panther looks way better than the cheaper one. Like Joe.
Well, plus that's an insult to everybody. You're going to release one Flocked and one not Flocked. When Moss Man comes out, you're going to release a non-Flocked and Flocked, and people are going to try and defend. Well, no, because I'm pretty sure, like back in 1985, like they released like the very first wave had no flocking. Like I'm pretty sure. I have no evidence of it, but I just pulled the evidence like right out of my ass. So don't quote me on that or some shit like that. Like, how can you defend something like that? The flocking is what helped differentiate the character, not only by the color, but the fact that it felt like fur. That is what made Panther. Like, it's not.
And you're right. That moss on Moss Man, I'll admit, it made Moss Man too. Because when I was a kid, you can call me stupid, I don't care. When Moss Man and Stinkor came out, I didn't know that was a reuse of Beast Man and then the reuse of Merman. It was like a year later. I was sitting there when I was putting on my shelves, like, son of a bitch, is that Merman? Then I looked at it, was like, is that Beast Man? I felt like I discovered the secrets of the Holy Grail or something. But yeah, I felt like a complete idiot when I discovered that.
I didn't know it either. Of course, I didn't have Mossman as a kid. I only saw him once as a kid. But even so, like, that's unacceptable. I do not give a shit about the price point, or I mean, just trying to pass it off as some deluxe thing so that way they can jack up the price to put the Moss on there. I find that very insulting to the casual fan, to the hardcore fan, to the.
It's the only one I'm getting. I'm only getting the Flocked. And Sportimus did bring up something. Thanks, Sportimus. I thought somebody was being a smartass about this, but it's the truth. The box is Flocked, and I was like, what? I looked at that box that I seen the picture of right here. I don't see it, but I'm wondering, how the hell is this? I don't get it. I was like, what is Flocked on the box? What? Oh, see, we can't really tell there, Nathan. I can't really see it, but I guess the box is supposed to be Flocked. But yeah, it's going to be a waste for me to get the unflocked and Flocked. I'm only getting the Flocked one, so I don't see the logic. That would have been a big failure, I think, if they just had just that unreleased.
Well, yeah, look, and if you're going to release Beast and charge a higher price point because it's a larger item, then release Panther as he's supposed to be. This bullshit of releasing two different, I mean, it just makes the people at Mattel just like complete jackasses. I mean, absolute morons to throw out something just, it's like, well, here, if you're too poor, you can have this version here. It's like, or is it one of their cheap ways of trying to, gouge, the obsessive fan who'll just buy any piece of dog shit and just slap the label?
Maybe.
I got to have the non-flocked one though, because I'm going to blow my brains out if I do not have every single item in this collection there. Otherwise, it's incomplete. And like, no, it's a bullshit.
And I used to always be a completist with stuff, but no, for that Flocked and unflocked, no, it's only going to be the Flocked. And I guess Zen Brown said he did mention about the Flocked box. I missed that, Zen Brown. Sorry, but yeah, I'm only getting the Flocked one. I don't need to be a completist to have the unflocked. Just like you said, if they did a Mossman unflocked and flocked, like I don't think we've ever had a Mossman unflocked, so I pray they don't do that. It's like, keep them flocked. That's the only way we need to have.
Look at Roboto. Like Roboto's arms, like, and I saw someone else post. I saw this somewhere else too. Like, there's a group shot of certain faces, and their arms look, I mean, like so much bigger than the lower body. I mean, almost like monkey arms. Like they're hanging down. like really, really low. It just looks very disproportionate. Something about Ninjor doesn't look right. Maybe it's just a really bad picture they took, but he just
There's a
doesn't look
good one.
right.
There is a good one out there. I don't know if you've seen it, and I don't know if Nathan had it. There was a really close-up one of Ninjor, and he does look good, though, and I like his outfit. There's something about it that it's not like a cloth, but it's not a plastic. There's some, I don't know what you even fucking call this material, but he looks good. And damn, now I want to go find that. Nathan,
Well,
if you keep
I mean,
talking for a bit,
Joe, I told Joe on Wednesday. I was
know,
like, Joe,
I'm an
send me
asshole.
pictures. Guess what he didn't do? He didn't send me anything. So I'm like, fine.
Did he even acknowledge that you sent him something? Like, did he just disappear and, he's off, eating spam out of a can? And
Spam.
they're like, oh, yeah,
You guys
he
are
thinks I'm going to
spam.
respond to him
I
soon.
want to
Spam Joe running down his mouth.
I want to say this because I feel like we're kind of getting towards the tail end of this topic. I imagine most people are probably like, Tyler, fuck you. That's fine. If you're like, Nathan, fuck you, I don't agree with you.
And I will say this too here.
Well, no, hey-
one of our listeners also got really offended by the things I say on this podcast
Hang on.
here. Like,
All
right.
At the end of the day, these are just toys. In the grand scheme of stuff, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Whether we liked it, we didn't like it, who cares? We're just here to talk, and I guess somewhat entertain. It's fine. If you like them, cool, buy them all. If you don't like them, don't buy them. It's as simple as that. I mean, yeah, Tyler's passionate about it. Joe's passionate about it. I'm kind of indifferent. Like I said before, the box art on these things looks great. I personally, if I find them, as long as the card isn't beat up, I'll probably just keep them in the package. Will I prominently display them somewhere? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. It depends on like the spacing of this new place and what I want to do with everything. But
congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you.
Congrats on
Yeah,
that place.
I can't wait to pack all of this shit up and move and figure out where.
But when you unpack it, it'll be a hell of a feeling because then you
Yeah.
can display it and have a whole new looking back here for the show. That'll be pretty cool.
I guess I should mention that too. We'll probably be taking a week, maybe 2 off here at the end of August, 1st of September, because I'm going to be moving and it's not too far. And if all goes well, and I hope nothing lied to me, I should have internet that's cheaper and faster and better. And I'll have an office, so behind me, it won't just look like this anymore. I'll make it look like Tyler and Joe. I'll make sure that I got figures prominently displayed behind me. But yeah,
Do you say cheaper and better? When I hear cheaper, I get excited. If you find an internet service that actually is cheap and pretty good, let me know.
I mean,
it's cheaper than what I get.
it's Xfinity. The internet I have now is just like, it's good, but it's the price point is way too much, and it's logistics and where you live and all this. But I want to say this, and I'll pass it on to Tyler. It's fine, guys. Like it's fine. If you like stuff, cool. We say it all the time. If you guys like these figures, who cares? This is just us expressing our opinions on the matter. We're not scholars. We're not the important people in the business or anything like that. That's just us saying we look at it. I'm like, okay, that looks like shit, and then I move on because I don't.
And we're not getting pissy with each other. Like, you can hear me. I am excited about everything except that stupid unflagged
Yeah.
Panther.
Oh, well,
Tyler pretty much doesn't like any of it, and you're kind of indifferent. But that doesn't mean we're gonna argue. Like, oh, fuck off, Tyler. You don't like it. Like, you're not a real fan. I'm not. Doing
I
that.
like stuff about this. I like the fact that we're getting Clamp Champ and Ninjor this early, like you said. Some of the stuff, like some of the sculpts on them, look kind of odd. Tyler's got a point with the proportions on them. On some of the figures do look weird. Some of the faces on them are kind of bad. Some of the faces on some of them are great. I like the fact that Ram Man's going to have articulation and the action feature. I think he looks fantastic. The box art on that looks fantastic. I'm curious to see how it's going to look, because you walk down the aisle, you see that, like, your heart's going to skip a beat just a little bit of excitement of like, oh, hey, look at that. That's kind of cool, whether you buy it or not. Just maybe just that tiny second. You're like, oh, wow, that's nice to finally see them.
And I think Axel worked on that end cap art for the He-Man and Skeletor on both sides to advertise and promote it on that, like you said, that modular.
Yeah.
I think Axel worked on
And that would be, like, if I came across that, and I'm like, hey, can I have that? And like, yeah, sure, take it. Hell yeah, I'm going to take it. I don't know what I would do with it. Maybe I would just put the Origins figures in there and display them on that. I don't know. But Tyler, we'll go ahead and pass it on to you, because you were saying something about someone being offended, and I don't want you guys to be offended. Don't take anything ever that we say on this podcast to heart and think that we're targeting you or calling you stupid. No, it's just a generalization of the entire situation. I want to stress that enough.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen that much, which obviously if people have a problem, because yes, we don't have to argue. I'm the most controversial of the three of us on this podcast.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
There's no one to dispute that, and a lot of people like it, and I'm sure there's some people who are indifferent to it, but there are some people who listen to this podcast over the years, don't like what I have to say, and
that's fine.
It's like and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I think it's great if people are vocal about they don't agree with me. That's perfectly fine. Like, I don't have the desire to go after people on social media or who leave comments on YouTube about they don't like what I had to say about something, or that I got so angry about this. Like, I'm with Nathan. Like, when we're done with doing this podcast. What's that?
I sent you that picture of Ninjor, by the way. Go ahead, continue. I'll go ahead and get this up. You go ahead and keep talking.
It looks all right.
I mean, sure, like you said, I mean, compared to the ones that are spaced out like this, you can see a little more detail.
There's such an inconsistency on the quality of these things, too. One, the head sculpts, for the most part, are not very good. The battle armor sculpts and Ram Man look pretty good. Everyone else is just like, there's something cheap looking about Clamp Champ's head sculpts. And I should be excited that we're getting Clamp Champ and Ninjor this early, but I'm just not impressed by how they look. They look cheap. For a $20 toy,
by the way,
toy,
the Clamp Champ,
I expect.
Which, I didn't mean to interrupt, but which Clamp Champ picture did you see? Is it just the one that Nathan has here, or did you?
Just the group shot that's got him and the battle armors together.
Okay, because I'm not gonna do the dick thing that's gonna piss Nathan off again, but I'm good at that. There was a close up of Clamp Champ as well, and like I said, that head, the way they had him posed at the side, I was like, that reminds me of, like I said, some of the art. I was like, that actually looked pretty good. The ones here, I can see what you're talking about. At the distance, you really can't get the gist of it, and it's some. I can see what you mean. It's like, it doesn't look that great, but he does look good on this one.
Well, they have a tendency to do that with reveals anyway. Like, New York Comic Con, when they show off stuff, a lot of it is people taking pictures. And how many times have these looked really great there, and then when you look at them on the shelf, like, the paint apps just look weird. The face looks different a little bit, and it just kind of looks shitty. Sure. We've all been burned by that before, so it is what it is. I don't know. I just don't want people to be bummed out about any of this or think that we're just taking a big old steaming dookie on it, because it's nice it'll be out on the shelves. I know Tyler will say, yeah, but I want more, and yeah, I mean, I think we all do. But if this is as good as it's gonna get, which is a shame, but it's Mattel. Like, their track record's not great lately.
Speaks for itself. They haven't been able to put anything relevant. I don't remember the last time they put anything. If you're going to say, the wrestling toy line, which is probably the most relevant thing they put out there, and mainly because of the old school wrestlers and stuff like that. But some of you people, I have to remind people, I act this way to entertain on the podcast. When we're not doing the podcast, I'm about as low key, even keel, quiet. Joe and Nathan are more active on social media than I am, because I just don't give a shit.
And the thing is that you guys won't believe is that in real life, Tyler is calm and he doesn't yell about everything. And usually
you're the asshole.
And usually I'm the one that's just like, bah! But it's not.
Yes.
For me, it's.
Yeah, you're picking fights with people at the movie theater. Hey, Tyler's trying to be cool, and you're the one losing.
They deserve that. They deserve for me to tell them now it was okay to be on their phone after we were out of the movie. I don't pay $12.
Went up to Tyler though, Nathan.
Oh no, because I'm the one that called him out on it, and we fought verbally in the theater about it, and then Nathan chases them down in the parking lot, and then they come after me. This family of fat asses that just, what you'd see on Jerry Springer back in the late '90s, like the trailer trash you'd see on those shows. That's what Nathan was chasing after into the parking lot. Because I asked Emily, "Where's Nathan?" "Oh, he went to go fight him."
I didn't go. I know. I didn't go to fight them. Basically, you
Well,
came out of the bathroom.
That's what she said that you went to go do. It was may not have been that exact. It was one sentence very quickly, and she had said that kind of like sleepy look on her face. Like, oh, he went to go argue with him.
And then you guys walked out of the theater entrance, and you just heard yelling because that one girl was yelling at me. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember what she was saying. It was basically like, whatever, I do what I want. I'm like,
yeah, Jerry Springer,
just don't like
trailer trash.
I'm sorry. Don't like if you go into the movies, you watch the fucking movie. Don't sit on your phone the whole time. Don't turn your flashlight on and shine it over towards my face. Like, damn. Oh, and all the time when things like this happen, I would tell Emily. I'd just be like, man, there needs to be a new plague. Hey, here we are. I wished it into existence. Anyway, we're getting off track here.
Nathan really is the crazy one.
I'm not.
So that pretty much.
I just get.
Yes, but you people look. I act this way on a podcast because let's face it. If all three of us sat here and acted like 4-H camp counselors and said, "Goody gumdrops, I can't wait for that new Battle Armor He-Man with the disproportionate body to come out in stores so I can pay $25 for him." I just can't fucking wait, man. No, there's nothing fun or interesting about that. Is there truth to a lot of things I'm saying? Yes, but I'm also putting an extra spin on this, and I have to do this to break character because there's some people who just get very sandy vaginas over this stuff, and they just can't stomach the fact that I say the things that I do on this podcast. It is an act, people. So it's whether it's 10 people, 100 people, whatever, I have to remind you again. I'm never going to attack anybody in person, on social media, through emails, phone calls, whatever it is. Because when this podcast is over, I do not give two shits about anything that I say on this podcast. From people who share pictures are like, oh, look what I bought today. Look at it. Look at my haul here. Like, I don't give a fuck. Do I like seeing it? No. But I'm not going to go after people on social media because I don't like that they post stuff. Or that, the latest little things and whatever. Like, I'm not going to go any further here because we're going to keep this podcast fun, stuff like that. But it's just like, people, relax. It's an act. I do this for fun. And I believe me, I'm not the only one in this hardcore fan base that is virtually extinct at this point that does not like the Origins line.
But
I'm not alone in the things that I say on this podcast that maybe you people don't like. And that's perfectly fine. Like if the three of us were at PowerCon doing a panel or just or whatever, and people wanted to say they don't like my views, like that's great. Like it means you listen and you care because you like what you like, and I like what I like.
Can you imagine that? It's like let's say Daniel.
Oh shit! No one would say anything.
No. I'm saying like let's say Danielle moderates it or something. It's like, hey, and now we have the Fans of Power, and then we got our 7 people in there, and they introduce us one by one, and we come out, and like Joe would go last. I would probably go out there first, and they'd be like, oh yeah, Nathan, yeah, and then like Tyler would come out, and it would be like peak NWO. They'd be like booing him and like throwing shit at him. It would be awesome.
I don't think that would happen.
No, Nathan would come out like Alex Wright with a leather jacket and start kind of dancing with everybody and stuff like that.
What a dance.
And then Joe comes out, has like Ultimate Warrior and starts flinging instead of he's got his scarf is turned into tassels. And he's just kind of flinging it all over the place and all that stuff. Then he's completely gassed out, because he ran out there and can't do too much like they say Warrior couldn't.
Warrior couldn't. I'm surprised that they got the match that they got out of him with Hogan at WrestleMania 6,
which was a damn good match. But yes, I'm sure people would like I don't. This doesn't happen that much, but I do kind of feel like when people think, and I'm sure they probably contacted Joe privately and said I'm a bad man. Yeah, I'm like Eric on Billy Madison. I'm just a complete cat and dipshit or whatever.
Well, I mean, true, but go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, I actually kind of find it flattering, that what I say on this podcast, they felt the need that I need to contact Joe. And I don't like what Tyler does in this podcast. And Joe, you need to.
It's hey guys,
put him in the corner.
It's all right. We see it in the views. It's fine. We see it when Tyler's on. We know we're not gonna get a lot of views. It's okay.
Yeah, and you guys just read the mail letters from some bastard kid in the magazine from 1988. You guys just like, oh my god, I gotta tune in live.
I have fun
for that.
I have fun, and that's
What it's just
fun.
I am what I am here, people. Like I don't have to like the stuff that you like, and nor do you have to like my
it's
stuff.
just like Popeye, man. Except he would.
Well,
Except he
we
would
got
need
past
spinach.
this. You're right. I think we're done with Origins, but we'll move something from the past, and we'll see. Maybe we won't agree with that. You never know.
We'll see if the people tune out because fuck that, man. That ain't new. That's old stuff, man. I ain't watching this shit. This goes right over my head.
Well, hell, if they do make a Monstroid for Origins, maybe this time they can have something with a battery feature so we can go more than about 15 seconds of spinning. Because I always have to
be cross-eyed.
How many batteries did Monstroid take, by the way? That's had to be...
He didn't. That's what I mean. He didn't take batteries. He had to wind them, click the thing
really?
over, and then he stopped, and I was so disappointed. I was like, I want him to go on for a long time. So if you make Monstroid, make him... Yeah, mine's over there, Tyler. I can't get it, so you're going to have to do it live.
I got him right here. Well, his legs are in storage, but I got the bulk of them right here.
Yeah.
Show him the action feature so he can see how you wind him up, and then zim. You can hold him by his under... balls or whatever you and that red button on the side is how you.
Oh shit, man!
That's it. It's over. So could you picture being a kid? I was like, oh, it's over already. So
right there to shut him down.
Mm-hmm.
See, because I did not own Monstroid, I was just under the impression that Monstroid was battery operated, and that you hit that button to like. Turn them on, hit it again, and turn them off. Which I think probably would have been a better way to go, honestly. That way it could have kept going like you wanted. But
I loved that damn toy, though. I mean, I loved it as a kid. Like I said, I just wanted it to last longer. It was too quick. Like I said, just from and then the other thing is, I would always try to recreate him having one good guy and one evil warrior in his hand. And it just didn't seem like he had the power when he would spin and kind of then just leaned. So sometimes at this point, I would just put He-Man or just Skeletor, and he'd like spin around like a towel or something, which I loved that damn thing. I mean, I hated the stuff in the cartoon, even though you could say I think the cartoon might have been first with the Monstroids, their versions. I was
gonna say that to me, that's Monstroid. The Monstroid robots, like that ain't Monstroid.
I hated those.
What the hell is this?
They're like fake ass Transformers, and some of the laziest
very cheap looking Transformers.
Didn't one just like bend or do one motion? Yeah. I was like, oh, what a transformation! That was fantastic.
Yeah, it was just. I wish Filmation, like, I don't know what they were thinking when they did that one. That's something that, No, and they appear again. I forgot what episode they appear in also, but they look like shit.
Can I say one more thing before we move on to Monstroid? Because I do have something that we're going to try out, and hopefully that will work pretty well. Hopefully it does. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But one more thing that I want to address in terms of the Tyler and Origins or whatever. When you come and watch the show, because I do this too. I used to do this all the time with Tyler when it came to movies. I would go and watch a movie, and I'd be like, Tyler's probably going to hate that. So if you go with the mindset, coming in the show, you look at the topics, and you just assume that Tyler's going to hate it. And then when he doesn't hate it, then you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Well, plus, I'm like, I dare say, like, why do any of you people who don't like my views, have you listened to every episode that Joe and I have done before Nathan even came on? When we rarely had anything negative to say, when all we were doing was focusing on, classics at the time when they were still going and doing discussions on the mini comics and character discussion. I mean, everything that has become a staple in this podcast. Go back, get off your lazy ass and dig through the back catalog of episodes. Don't just show up for the most random thing because they're talking about the most current event shit. If you're that bothered by it, I'm quite sure I'm not the only person on the internet. Hell, I know Michael from Retro Blasting gets shit for not liking everything or being accused of hating all the news stuff. So I'm not the only person, and I'm not comparing myself to Retro Blasting. They're a very prosperous YouTube channel. They do very well. But I'm just saying, like, I'm not the only person out there, and he's older than I am. Joe is older than I am.
No, he's not.
I'm in terms of the hardcore fan base, I'm the youngest of a lot of the hardcore people that are in the community. I came along later, and I loved what I liked, and I disliked what I dislike. So
Yeah, I don't like
Oh my
everything
God.
either.
Yeah.
You hear me when there's stuff I don't like. There's
Well,
things that I
just-
hate.
I just feel like I'm sorry, but how many times do I have to tell you people? I expect a higher quality when it comes to Master of the Universe, though. I expect good storytelling. I expect beautiful artwork. I don't like anything that dumbs it down or tries to be funny or cute, or it's why I don't care any the small items. Like, yes, I own a couple of Pops because I have a couple of Turtle ones and I have a couple of He-Mans. But overall, I don't like the cutesy shit. I don't like anything that demeans the serious tone that I want in He-Man. The same thing goes for Thundercats, Turtles, superheroes. I don't care what it is. G.I. Joe, Transformers. I don't like cutesy shit because that's my personal choice. I don't like. I mean, Joe will buy anything with Jason Voorhees where these cute, chibi. He's handing a Valentine to little Michael Myers, some shit like that. Joe will.
Oh,
buy
it's true. I do. For Jason, that's one. I don't give a shit. I'll buy everything for some fucking reason. I have one thing. I don't even know what the hell it was, where it came from. It's some weird little chrome Jason. I still don't know how the hell I got it, but yeah, I admit I'll get anything for Jason. Now, Masters Universe, I don't, because I haven't got all those Pops and all those weird things for Masters. I don't get those either. There's some things I don't get, and there's a lot of Master stuff I don't care about either. And Tyler, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that. Look, I just remember this, guys. From here on out, and if you don't listen to this episode and you just can't figure out why the hell Tyler is so angry all the time, I like my properties serious. I love comedies, and I want comedies staying away from my beloved 80s mythology. I don't want He-Man, Thundercats, Turtles, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Bionic 6, Marvel, DC. I don't like silly shit in any of this stuff. That is my personal choice.
Speaking of Transformers, did you watch that War for Cybertron on Netflix?
No.
It's actually... I liked it. It's a little methodical in its pacing. The voice acting seems kind of weird, and almost, to a degree... It almost, after a while, everyone sort of starts to sound the same a little bit, but I like the direction with it, and it was nice that they did treat it seriously and didn't go a different route.
Well, I still intend to watch it. I just didn't make it a priority. Actually, I spent some time rearranging toy stuff and watched Enter the Dragon and Die Hard this week, and that was my priority amongst other stuff. But no, I still intend to watch it. But that's just. Look, it's not a personal attack on everybody. Yes, I have said I don't like it when people post silly shit. I've gotten on to Joe for doing it, and Joe's going to continue to do it because he likes to do it.
It doesn't matter.
And his fan base likes. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care.
Yeah,
that's what he likes to do. I love the '87 movie and Parts of New Adventures and other stuff. And Joe's not on the same boat as me. And Nathan's kind of he doesn't give a shit sometimes about any of it.
Yeah.
And he picks and chooses what he likes. Same thing with all you guys. So.
Well, Grim 2 is he's like, how did I like the War for Cybertron? I don't know, it was just all right compared to some of the other stuff that franchise has had to go through. Yeah, I think it did okay.
Yeah, I mean, I that's another thing too. Transformers was not something I watched as a kid. Occasionally, I did. I got into it when I was in high school and loved the Generation 1 stuff. So anything that is on the same level, regardless of some of the storylines may be hokey to some people, but the characters and the stories that is what I want, and they just continue to try and reinvent it. By people say, "Oh, I love Transformers." Well, if you did it, why does it look like dog shit? So I just want this stuff to be treated seriously. I dismiss so much stuff because I feel like until it's proven, I'm not going to buy the fact that just because Kevin Smith says Tony Todd did a great job as Scarecrow. Well, he's not going to come out and say he did a shitty job.
Right.
So therefore, the new cartoon is going to be great. Or that Noah Wyle, whatever the hell his name is, check out these new pictures of him playing He-Man. He's small. He's in shape, but he's small. He's super tiny. And looks goofy as shit anyway. That is not relevant He-Man news here, people. It's just I expect more. And maybe it's because I've been with this for so long and have never quit. So maybe that's my fault. But when you admit that I'm sorry for something, I'm sorry that I have been with He-Man since as far back as I can and never quit and expected a higher quality ever since then. And probably because of that is why so many of you all hate my opinions. And then I come on here and piss all over the hush puppies of Nathan and Joe on this podcast when they're trying to do something fun and light and fluffy and make y'all feel good when you get to listen to the podcast. Oh God, man, I can't wait to buy cheap chibi shit.
All right.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm done.
I was gonna say it's a broken record. Tyler's an asshole. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
And let me say
I'm
something,
all over
Taylor.
it, guys.
Like,
It's no big deal.
I wanted to say one thing to somebody in the chat room, Taylor Limbury. No, it was the Christmas special that the Monstroids were in, not in Secret of the Sword. So just in case, just let you know. Yeah, go back watch that Christmas special. It's and that's a thing that either some people might love or hate. But back to you, Nathan, and show us something that you're going to do about Monstroid.
Yeah. So we'll play this. We'll see if it comes through okay, and then we'll go from there.
Now, a raging terror grabs hold of the universe. Monstroid.
Oh, it's
when Monstroid gets wound up, it grabs, it lurches, it spins, and thrashes. Because just like Hordak, it's bad.
I don't know. Hey, you gotta let me know when to shut up, because right now I don't see.
Monstroid.
Oh,
From the Masters of the Universe, you put it together. Action figures sold separately from Mattel.
I heard that so. Were you? He was at home.
There we go. All right, so yeah, the audio did go through on that. I'm glad Joe could. Well, they probably wouldn't even really be able to hear us that much anyway because the commercial was pretty loud. But I'll just have this on loop in the background while we talk about
hey,
it.
it's like we're doing commentary. We're doing commentary for this. By the way, and you see in that commercial where you got to stop it with the sword or something. I never even had He-Man do that at any point. I just let him go and spin. I mean, hell, like I said, you barely got 15 seconds. Why am I going to get rid of 15 seconds of enjoyment by stopping? But
Right.
no, I always loved the damn commercials. They were just so damn cool. Look at that shit right there. Why couldn't we, like I said, in the cartoon, why couldn't we got something that looked like that, not those fake Transformers? But no, Monstroid, like I said, he got issue 5 of the Star Marvel comic. We got Monstroid in a story, and it was interesting. It kind of almost reminded me of like a Pumpkinhead thing, to where you call upon this evil to do your bidding. That's like a vibe I got out of it. It was cool. I wanted more. I know that they had some UK stories. I'll be honest. Those, I think, issues of the UK stories for Monstroid I don't own. I know you can read them on He-Man.org, but I've never read them, so I don't know how it varies from the Star Marvel / comic. I don't know if it has the same type of origin being from the Sea of Rakash, which, by the way, even like if we ever do a discussion on that Monstroid comic and we show it up here so we can discuss page by page, that even had errors. Like they were referring to the Sea of Rakash from being on Etheria. Then in the next page they said Eternia. Then you see Skeletor leaving Snake Mountain. And he's leaving Snake Mountain. It's the Jaws of Castle Grayskull. They had a lot of weird errors, but still fun comic. But I don't know, Tyler, you obviously I know you know that issue, but what did you think of Monstroid?
I know we reviewed that. I think it was the only time we actually discussed Modulot to any extent. It's not but then again too. It's a character that has never really been explored, much like the latter part of the series. A lot of them didn't get that much attention or spotlight, and I always found it fascinating that it was a creature that was summoned from the oceans. I just thought like it's a machine, and
an ancient machine too, which was weird.
An ancient machine, which I just thought was like. Because I've never heard of and it's treated as like, a giant beast that, emerges from the ocean. And, the only thing I could think of that, and this is very out of left field, but was like the killing machine in Red Sonja, which was a machine that, attacks people and stuff like that. But it is a machine in a fantasy film in the water. So it just kind of makes you, I'm always fascinated by creatures that come out of the water, like giant, like the Kraken and Clash of the Titans and things like that. And just seeing Monstroid is something that emerges from the ocean and, like, how does it, like, why is it there? Like, who created it? Why is it submerged in the ocean? And why is it only coming to do Hordak spitting? It's just there's so many unanswered questions about this creature that, hell, I got the box of, well, it's here somewhere. I've got, and the back of the box has got like this kind of interesting little kind of story scenario thing on the back. Oh, it's right over there. God, I can't see. But if you guys don't want to know, like, do a Google search for like the back of it.
I'll work on finding it and popping it up.
Okay, but it's just. It leaves a lot to wonder, and I know, like we talked about that wonderful Earl Norm poster, like maybe a couple of years ago, and we talked about like watching the Heroic Wars battle Monstroid. I mean, that's a story. Like, it's coming out of the water. The waves are crashing, around the warriors. It's grabbing a hold of Rio Blast, and it's just like, oh my god! Like this. It just kind of leaves you in awe.
It looked it does.
Very menacing.
But it's menacing and frightening. And what the hell to stop it? I mean, like I said, of course, I always have to pick on Snout Spout as much as I love him. I was like, what the fuck are you trying to do? He's squirting water on him. He's in the water. You ain't gonna do nothing. It's like, Snout Spout, get out of here. But everything else, about
just,
that.
Joe, I have my own thoughts on that, and I just I have an explanation.
They're all in trouble. Hopefully. All the heroic warriors, they need help. They're like, look who's coming. It's Snout Spout when he arrives on here, and he squirts water, and they're like, what the hell are you doing? Get the hell out of here. You're not helping at all.
I have an explanation about that. Unfortunately, I can't give it to you right now. I have a very well thought out explanation as to why Snout Spout would be spraying water at something that comes out of the water. Maybe someday you'll get to see it, and maybe I'll tell it to you someday. But I can't. I just can't tell you that right now. But
right. But no, you're right. There's like this, like you said, I always like the little stories on the boxes, and then of course we knew when it came to Star Marvel stuff. In any of the canons, they always had a different origin. Like how you were saying, like why for Hordak? Like in the Star Marvel, they made it sound like anybody that could get mind control over this thing could have it do its bidding. Because first, it's taking Hordak along with all the members of the evil horde, and then it takes Modulok to say, I created this other thing called Multibot, and that channeled and made it to where they could control him. And then here comes Skeletor later, like, hey, let me see if I can get over there and do it myself. Like, I was like, Skeletor is going to try to do it all by himself. It's taking the whole horde to do it. But it was weird seeing him, like I said, for me, because around that time, I know with my horror stuff, I did get a Pumpkinhead kind of vibe, and it didn't matter which came first. It's just after reading that and Pumpkinhead, I felt like it's just calling to do a bidding. But yes, for me, this has always been no matter what the Star Marvel comic said, Monstroid has always been Hordak's beast in my mind. Obviously, it's a horde type creature. That's how it always was promoted. So I'll never see it as being something else. Even though Star Marvel was cool, he's got to be Hordak's creature.
I'm with you on that one too, because I just feel like, there's some stuff that I like, even though it was, it just kind of goes back to the whole blast attack thing. However Mattel intended it, even though you look, there's some examples that don't make much sense, like seeing Stratos with the Evil Warriors, which kind of makes you think that Stratos was possibly going to be an Evil Warrior. Like, no, just because he's in that one page of the He-Man the Power Sword, no, that does not make him an Evil Warrior. He's definitely a Horde member, but I don't buy the
Wasn't
idea
early material? Didn't early material advertise Stratos as like evil, winged warrior? Didn't it advertise him in one I swear, like that early art showed Stratos as evil. Damn.
You mean like on like the kind of or
that cross-cell back art, that stuff that we
like that you would see like in some of the mini comics that wasn't colored. It was like just penciled.
Yeah.
Probably. So I can't think of it right off, but I feel like there were some.
Yeah, Grimbot said it. He said he was a villain at first, but okay.
Yeah, and just like Zodak was going to be a flat-out villain as well, too, but that was immediately scrapped. So the first wave gets a pass. Anything after that, what Mattel decided for us, even though I don't like the idea of Keldor at all, which is what the route that we're going later on with it, but I'm like, if they said that Blast Attack was a member of the Snake Men, then that's what he was. Like, I don't care. In Star Comics, clearly, they didn't have anybody really put in their heart and soul.
Talk about a bad
depiction. God.
Oh, man, that one was painful. That was a bad depiction of Blast Attack in the Star Marvel. Oh, God, did I hate that. I just hated how, he's like a camp.
I didn't mind it, but even though, like, the fact that he breaks apart and starts... No. I mean, it's like they clearly just... And that's when it tells you that the writer and the illustrator didn't grasp what these characters were, which is why Scareglow is flying around. And
like Superman, instead of a hover, it's more like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, they were just throwing the stuff
in there. He has a cape, though, Tyler. Remember, if you have a cape, that gives you a pass. You got to fly for some reason.
Yeah, it's some of that stuff's like, it's not forgivable. As a reminder, we don't praise everything that's old here. For those who just tune in for the first damn time,
Which, hey, we appreciate new eyes and ears. I always want to say that, put that out.
We do, but for people who just so quick to jump on the bandwagon and say that we don't like anything that's not current, just mind you that you're full of shit in that mindset. But yeah, a Monstroid, like, I don't buy the idea that he's controlled by telepathy, that Hordak summons him mentally. Like, this is something that there's got to be more to it. Like, I almost feel like it's a beast in itself. And as a machine, you just kind of makes you wonder, like, how does it operate? How does it think? You know, is it? I mean, that's the whole. That's what kind of makes me. You know, that's why I wanted to talk about it. Is that we never really kind of discussed how Monstroid operates. Is it a living being? It is a machine, but it's in the water and it goes nuts. It's like, does it eat? Does it? Like, why does it do what it does? You know, why does it? I mean, it would make sense if Hordak created it from the ground up, and it does that, and he just kind of turns it loose as like this massive tank tornado into battle and just destroys the Great Rebellion left and right, or levels, you know, the Whispering Woods. But this is something that was. What is the box art up? Do you guys have the box art up?
I put the back of the art up.
What does the back packaging say? Or do you guys can you guys read it? Or
I'll have to. Well, they wouldn't really be able to make it out on screen. I'll have to zoom in pretty good on here because the other one that I found, like the verbiage, it was all in Spanish. So I found one in English.
Oh yeah, that's the one that says I got my English because I've got an English box.
Yeah,
over here.
well,
I
did
quick.
find one, but it's kind of hard to read.
All right, let me just grab this real quick here, people. All right. I bought this at Happy Stream Market when I was in high school.
How much did you pay?
I've had this
And what
box
deal
ever
did you
since.
get? What kind of deal did you get? Of course,
in the Beam Blaster and Artillery box. This was the guy that hooked me up with stuff all the time. This stuff is all like cheap, like maybe. God, I think he sold me both boxes for like maybe 10, 15 bucks, 20 bucks,
oh
something like
god,
that.
damn!
And he also
Oh,
sold
man.
me Castle Grayskull up here with the box, a complete Castle Grayskull with the box for $25.
Jesus Christ, this is sick.
And a mint in box Modulock, I think, for $20 or $25 or $30 too.
God,
So-
that Grayskull, though, a hell of a deal. Well, first shove that art from the front right
Yes,
in for
but
us to
this
see.
right there, you see this beautiful artwork of Monster attacking Cyclone, Man-at-Arms, and there's Roboto and Thunder Punch He-Man down there trying to stop him. And you see that whirling tornado action, and this tells a story here, people. This is what I want from Mattel. You understand?
They release them, it better last longer than 15 seconds this time. But that's all I'm
Yes,
saying.
but
Now
here
see-
is the.
We could all be so
the-
lucky, Joe, to last longer than 15 seconds.
Yeah, I guess. Look at that. And I always liked that they would put some cool art on the back. And like I said, some of them even little bits of stories. I think even Mantisaur had something about that. And it talked more about his abilities to shoot out those like wasps or bees or creatures. But read that back and give us that story on the back.
All right, this is our backstory for Monster. Is it came from beneath the sea? Probably a throwback to Ray Harryhausen's film. For centuries, it roamed the ocean floor, terrorizing other animals and destroying all in its path. Now Hordak has called the creature forth from the depths and sent him on a search and destroy missions in the name of the evil horde. It lives to fight its Monstroid, the ultimate battling machine. So just picture it. This thing was around before Hordak, or it's obviously just a mindless machine that was created probably during the pre-Eternia days. It's hard to say, but and that it was, you know, terrorizing the ocean floor, probably came up out of the ocean, causing chaos. Like, so much mystery to that, and there's
And
so
what's that
much
little-
to be thought about.
And what's that little story with him, with Roboto and Cyclone? How does that go from panel to panel?
Let's see. The first panel is that you got Cyclone and Roboto kind of running up top, like Monstroid. It's almost like they think maybe he might be asleep or unaware. The unsuspecting warriors wander nearby the lair of Monstroid. The awesome creature bursts forth, snare its prey with powerful pincers. Monstroid can hold two at a time. Wind up Monstroid for battle, to whip prisoners around and around. Only the strongest warriors can punch the battle button that stops Monstroid cold. So
That is some cool shit. That's
it's
man.
it's fascinating here. I mean, just, you know, do yourself a favor here, people. Look up this beautiful box art on Google and save it and make it your wallpaper on social media or on your phone or something like that. I mean, just look how epic that is. I refuse to settle for anything less than this here, people. If that makes me a bad man, then I am guilty as charged, man. I will arrest myself if that pisses you off.
I don't know how often those even come up on eBay in a box, to be honest. That's what I mean. It's pretty rare to see a mint in box Monstroid come up. Hell, maybe even in the box. I can't think of how often I see those come up. So you got a good piece
I've
there.
looked in a while because I mean, some of the stuff I would just go and look for fun, just to see how much they've risen in price, just to kind of like humor myself, like, boy, how much is, Clamp Champ right on card here? How much is that going for?
Of course. He's gonna start pulling them all out. I don't think I have any.
I mean, the rest of my vintage stuff's over here. This acrylic case. It's not going to go on the wall here. This I did pay a lot of money for because I was determined to recapture a mint on card Clamp Champ because he deserves it. Because damn it, he's one of the best characters ever. So, I hope his head sculpt is at least on par with this. This head sculpt here.
It did look good. Like I said, I'll send you another picture later. It did actually.
I will say this. I had a buddy of mine at work because he was super excited about Origins. He hasn't seen me over the pandemic and didn't know what my thoughts were. He was kind of shocked that I wasn't interested. And I said, look, if Jitsu comes along, which they've announced Jitsu, and he looks great, I'll buy him. This is a line that if it looks good in person, maybe I'll buy it. For myself, but that's it. Though.
I have a good feeling that Tyler will do that quite a bit. I feel like he'll see it on the peg, and he's like, "You know what, people? I gotta do it," and then he does it.
No, I'm pretty. I mean, I've passed up Super 7 Classics figures that I haven't bought yet, mainly because I don't want to spend the money, and it's not that important to. I must have them. Like I've already given up on buying some of that stuff, so I've already kind of pulled back on buying a lot of the current stuff already that I genuinely like. I just don't feel like spending the $50 to buy some of that stuff. And this stuff, if it looks better in person, it's great. But I just don't have the room for it, nor do I have the desire. Like if that new toy line based on the new cartoon looks, badass as badass can be, then yes, I'll buy every one of them. Pray to God, it's not just Kevin Smith blowing smoke with the cartoon, but I'm very intrigued by that toy line because it's something different. And you know what? If the mini comics are better, there's so many factors that could draw me into one. I don't need to talk about Origins again. Damn it, we're talking about Monstroid.
No. And that's why now, like I said, for Monstroid, it's just. Here's hoping that with the Origins lines, we do get more vehicles and things and creatures that we didn't get in Classics, and hopefully there is a new Monstroid, hopefully with some action feature that is lasting, does look cool, has some kind of upgrades. So, like I said, crossing your fingers. But yeah, Monstroid, like I said, is something that we didn't get much of. Again, Tyler just read the box. We have the Star Marvel comic. We have a couple issues of the UK magazine. And beyond that, some art pieces and maybe a little print, but you didn't get much. And it was something that I think we would have loved to seen more of. And I definitely would have loved to seen that Monstroid in the cartoon.
And did I miss this, or was Monstroid not even in the compendium book at all?
Really?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah,
Do I have my compendium by me? Fuck, I don't think I have my book.
I couldn't imagine them leaving him out, but
I couldn't. Yeah,
maybe it was some of the really obscure stuff that's in that book. Monstroid's got
because he's sectioned out. Didn't they have there's vehicles, there's creatures, there's people.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be in that book. I couldn't picture him not be. Yeah, he's got to be in there.
I'll try.
But yeah, so there wasn't much. It would have been nice to have more, but here's hope for the future. I'll probably have to pass it to you, Nathan, because my screen on the YouTube video almost looks like it locked up. I've been trying to refresh, so I can't see questions. So I was going to say, for those that can hear, hopefully they can hear what I'm saying. If you have questions right now, this is the part we can ask anything about the cartoon, mini comics, toys, whatever you want. Ask us, and when they pop up, Nathan will start reading those questions. Because I'm not
a couple things. We haven't really got much in the way of in-depth questions. It's mostly just comments on the comments section that we've been getting the past couple episodes, which is fine. But if you guys that normally check us after the fact, if you want to leave a question down below that I can read off next week, that sounds good. How about some positive vibes towards Tyler. Zen Brown says, Tyler, I love how you made Clamp Champ a grappling submission machine in your mini comic.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, it's that was I liked it's. I've always been intrigued by the characters that weren't given that much, and I felt like, damn it, he deserves so much more. And hell, I'd love to write more and more stories that had Clamp Champ, used prominently as like He-Man's like go-to guy in the story, not just Man-at-Arms and Stratos over and over and over and over again. There's so many great characters, so I'm glad you appreciate that. Don't. I hope people don't feel like they need to,
walk on eggshells around you
No,
now.
I just no. But I also feel like I don't take this stuff personal, but I also feel like some people just don't get my place on this podcast here. Like, yeah, some stuff I do say is true, but I this is the only place where I really feel like I can kind of vent this stuff, because honestly, anywhere else, no one gives a shit. It just they don't.
There we go. Okay. Finally. All right. Yeah, sorry I said that earlier. That was kind of a dumb thing to say, but I was like flipping through in all the other sections, and I guess that little tiny bit just passed me by. I was like, oh, all right. But yeah, Monstroid is in there. Yeah, Fedmon said this, that Doug is going to upload episodes 1 through 50 to the Pop Culture Network channel, YouTube channel. So, boy, are you guys in for a treat on those. Yeah, it's
that really fucking tickled me.
That's gonna be, you guys enjoy those. I'll just leave it at that. And yeah, I honestly, the easiest way probably for you guys to maybe access that, you can either you can, why are you snickering, Joe? You can look up Pop Culture Network on YouTube, or you guys can go to fanspower.com, which will take you to our page on Pop Culture Network, and I imagine if Doug is doing it that way, then those should start to surface as like the most recent posts. So yeah, check out Pop Culture Network.
All right.
Yeah,
real quick before you get to questions.
I mean, do you guys want to address that? Do you guys want to talk about that really quick? What they're...
Well, first, I want to ask...
enjoy there's nothing... I'm afraid to talk about nothing.
I'm just asking, for the sake of it, do you guys want to kind of give these guys a disclaimer, a heads up?
We'll give context. I first wanted for Tyler, though, I didn't know if he got that picture I sent and what he thought, if he sees what I mean with that face, if you kind of get the gist of what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, it looks all right. It just kind of feels like it's still lacking. I mean, it's cool. They got the 2000X extra clamp in there, that the classics figure. I mean, it doesn't look hard. That one does look better. So maybe I might pick that one up when it comes to shelf. But I swear, if there's any of these figures that's got a shitty head sculpt as much as that He-Man does, no. And I just,
because Clamp Champ is not bad. His head sculpt is not bad. I mean, when you look at the
that one is better. But that
is better.
He-Man sucks.
Yeah, that had me upset as well, Skeletor. That's why we did it. But no, but as you were saying, Nathan, you were saying if we want to address like I said, yeah, we're going to talk about it right now. When the podcast was first being conceived, it was going to always be me, Tyler, and Brian. And Brian wasn't really on board with Tyler, he said. But I was like, but it was supposed to...
I guess it started from the beginning, people. People just don't like me.
No, we're going to go from the beginning. And he was like, I don't really know the guy. He was like, I don't vibe with him. I was like, yeah, but it was supposed to be all three of us from the beginning. I was like, no, I don't remember that. I was like, no, it was, because we were trying to get it going, and it would never, he didn't know how to record, didn't know what he was doing. We were trying to find somebody to record. Eventually, we found Doug, and Doug recorded it for us. But as the show went on, the more it went on, the more we would all get cut off. Like, sure, do Tyler and we cut each other off, and Nathan and back and forth? Yeah, but we're just having fun. It's a banter, but we're not rudely doing it. And I'll even say, hey, I'm sorry for interrupting you. But Brian would cut us off a lot and just go over. And then I'd say something, he'd say the exact same thing and repeat it. And then, like, okay, here, let's get to the cussing that pisses people off that I do sometimes. When I do it, I always say...
Don't you apologize for that either.
Well, here, I'm giving
sorry,
context.
But this is not meant for kids. If kids listen, that's great, but
I'm giving context. But I know what you mean.
Okay.
But when I do it, I always say it's loving. I'm not shitting when I say... No, I'm not kidding.
Fuck you, I love you.
You listen, fuckers. But no, when I'd say something, I'd honestly say it in a way where if I'm cussing at you, that means I really like you. As stupid as that may sound, I'm not saying, you know
You
what?
never cussed me, Joe.
Listen, fuck, no. It's like, you don't like me. But no. So when I'm doing the show, it's not like, these people making the toys are assholes and they're all fuckers and they're dumbass or motherfucker. It's like, I'm not doing it in negative.
Yeah, we
It's
don't
always in a
need
way
two
like,
Tylers on this show, Joe.
no, so when I'm saying it, it's like,
Only one of us
like,
really needs to be, slamming the Mattel executives.
right, but no, like when it's like, yeah, these are fucking awesome. Oh man, that's crazy shit, son of a. If I say it, it's always in a certain context. But when Brian was doing it, he was doing this cussing in a certain negative way. We didn't want that. He was cutting us off all the time. I felt like I couldn't even get words out at the time, and it kept building and building. And one time, that was it. We finally said something. We said what the fans were saying, how they were pissed, and it all blew up from there. But that was it. And like I said, me and Tyler was like, Tyler, we're going to still keep this going, and it's going to stay Fans of Power. I said, that's what I called this podcast. I said, we're going to still be Fans of Power. Because Brian was like, well, I want to keep the name. I was like, no, this is the name that I named it. I'm keeping it as Fans of Power. Me and Tyler still doing the show. I said, if you're going to do one, try to, I don't know, name it after your group. He had a group called Masters of the Galaxy. I said, call it that. But when you are being talked to in a certain way or talked over, it can really piss you off, and it pisses me off. Like I said, me and Tyler will cut each other off, but it's never in this way that's kind of like a dismissive, a fuck you in a way of talking. We do it, and it's a back and forth, but we still go right back to square one to where we're talking in the focal point. It would just get way too off topic. There was times when the show we were like supposed to record, he wasn't there to do the show. He wasn't around to record. It was always being late, and then he didn't want us to do the show if he wasn't there. It's like, that's not how it works. We do this at 8 o'clock or whatever the fuck the time was back then. We do it at this time every single Sunday. So why is there a problem?
We used to do it on Mondays back then. We used to record on Monday evenings.
Oh, you're right, because wrestling. That was it. Thank you. Because there was always a rush to get off to watch Raw and all this other stuff.
Why? You're not missing anything.
Yeah, and this asshole decided he wanted us to skip recording because he's going to do a Kiss concert and doesn't want us to record without him. But when my dad was in the hospital and had multiple brain surgeries, the show went on. Even after I said, like, my dad's in the hospital, I'm not going to be able to make it. Okay, well, we're going to do the podcast. We got to talk about Manny Weapons, which was a real discussion that Jerkoff wanted us to have. Manny Faces comes with extra weapons. He thought that was a discussion. Yeah. And he wanted to know what our thoughts were. I said, it's Manny Faces, and he comes with extra weapons.
So
is it okay? We'll be back after these messages. Like, what a jerk-off idiot.
So just when you guys check those out on that archive, and I'll make sure when Doug gets those up, if it's like in its own little separate hub page to go to, I'll find the way to link you guys to it as well through here. That way you can check it out. But just the disclaimer, those first 50 were kind of rough.
We had some good conversations when he wasn't interrupting us. And if you go, like, the very first episode Joe and I did without him was the one we did on the Sorceress, which is the very first YouTube episode we did. So if you're trying to figure out, like, if you're like Brad Collins, you want to kind of dig the chronological order and stuff like that. If you find the episode where we discussed the Sorceress and Flying Fists of Power mini-comic, I think, that's the first time Joe and I do a video, and the first one we did without Brian. And I will say this too: we were lining up Larry, Houston, and Axel to be on the podcast, and I told Joe in private. I said, "Look, this is getting embarrassing. People are complaining, and he's pissing you and I off on a regular weekly basis here. If he does it again before we have Axel and Larry on, I'm calling him out." And I called him out in a group. He cussed me, and the rest is history. And fortunately, Joe planted those seeds right where Joe named it, so therefore he could keep the title. Joe went and did his. Brian went and did his shitty version of a podcast that no one gave a shit about while he sat there and vaped live and was breathing smoke and would leave his guests.
That was it. That was
in
the
the
other thing that was
hitting the drums and shit like that.
That is the other thing. Let me just say that was the thing that was pissing me off is we would talk, me and Tyler would have some real in-depth thing we're saying, and suddenly her, I was like, what's going on? Oh, I was just playing the guitar for a second. I was like, Oh, well, that's fucking rude. Like, just fucking, who cares what Joe's saying or Tyler's saying? Then he would smoke and blow that shit right into the screen. It's like, I don't know what you're smoking, you know? It's like, we don't want this kind of shit
Well,
on
he
the
looked
podcast.
like a complete burnout in the video anyway. So
What
whether
was it that set you off, Tyler?
anything illegal at the time, it just when he looked like he's completely like
What was it though, Tyler? There was something in particular that had me fly off the handle where I said, well, you know what? I'm not feeling good. I got to get off here for a second. Like I try to act a certain way, but I was pissed. We were talking about, I think, some of our top mini comics or something, and I said something. I think he repeated the same exact ones I did. What was it? Something had me fucking.
That's all he ever did. Like you guys.
But there was a particular one. Remember?
I don't. That one I don't remember.
Oh man.
I have no idea. But that was something he would repeat whatever Joe just said because he either wasn't paying attention or clearly he was just about the toys. And obviously there's nothing wrong if you're just about the toys. I will say this: I feel like you're lacking a whole lot if you don't want to learn more about these characters. You're just strictly focusing on the plastic, and that's all he ever knew was just it was a toy, and that's about as far as it went with him. But when he didn't know something, he would just repeat what Joe said. I mean, literally repeat exactly repeat what I said, and would try to play it off as if like he had something intelligent to say in the conversation. And it was just irritating because he would just go out of his way to cut us off and just repeat what we were just trying to say, so he would look like he doesn't, look like an over the hill burnout.
So the gist of it, that is basically what happened and what led to the end of that. It's just, again, I don't wish bad on anybody. I hope he's okay and everything's in his life's okay. But when that stuff was happening to me and Tyler and stuff, I was just pissed because I always try to be cool and take the high road, but you're always going to blow up at some point, and that's what happened. But yeah, that's the first 50. If you guys want to attempt them, go ahead, but you're going to see a vast different quality. So, Nathan, get to it.
Which is why I kind of feel like we could revisit a lot of the stuff that we did, because it's hard to say people who in the chat room right now if they've gone back that far and listened to our discussion on Fisto or listened to our discussion on Roboto that we did back when it was just a downloadable podcast. I have no idea, and Nathan's on here too, so to get his perspective. So.
Right.
It warrants revisiting, but these characters do too.
I think
having
next time, next week, maybe I should just do that. I don't smoke or nothing, but I should do that next week just to be stupid. Anyway,
and just kind of like have like a glazed look on your face, and if you can just kind of throw in a couple of Joe Don Baker burps,
Boy, those donuts really hit me that one week. Good God. That was the first time I think I burped on the podcast, but I was close to puking.
Yeah. Especially Joe was like Robert Downey Jr. in like lessons are almost the wall. And just give me a trash can. And just here comes Jamie Gertz with the trash
how
can.
How bad that would have been. It's like Joe can eat a tarantula and won't puke, but then here comes the donuts. Right here live.
All right.
Thank God it didn't happen.
Let's see. And I want to stress this again. If it sounds like I interrupt them and or talking over top of them, it's not how it sounds over here. Like that's like a Skype issue with having them on the call.
A delay.
Yeah, there's like maybe I can go into that on my audio, maybe sync it up a little bit better. Omega Supreme 989 says, didn't Kevin Smith and friends mock Masters of the Universe on the TV show Comic Book Men? He may have, but I never really watched that show.
Oh, that son of a bitch Ming did. He slammed He-Man. I'm like, I want to smack the shit out of the little runt.
Didn't you called the shop once, right?
I actually
didn't you have like a conversation with one of them or something?
Oh, I called the shop and actually bought like Cryptozoic Man because I'm a fan of Telling Steve Dave, and spoke to like Mike from Comic Book Men, and he actually is familiar with Radford. I remember I was going to audition for the show, and I thought it was like you just kind of throw your name in there and they pick you to be on the show. I didn't know how it worked, and a rep from AMC like wanted to Skype with me and had picked me to go on the show, and didn't realize you had to pay your own, like you had to get yourself up to New Jersey. I wasn't aware of
that. Would have been hilarious.
It would have been, but that was closest I ever got to being a Comic Book Man. But I did see that one clip where Ming Chen was knocking He-Man, and of course he comes off as someone who doesn't know jack shit about anything. Like he knows like the bare minimum and just so wants to be a part of the conversation. So he'll just say the bare minimum, hoping he won't be caught, because they do it to him all the time, But
I never watched the show. I've never seen it.
It's when you listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave, it's like they just cut their balls off. It's not a very good show. The segments with Kevin are not very interesting. He pretends to act like he's interested, like he's not. Like, you're faking funny. If you listen to Tell 'em Steve Dave, they are. I mean, it's one of the best podcasts, if not the best podcast. Period. Funny as shit. I listen to it every week when a new episode drops. But yeah.
Jason Havlick, I read somewhere that the Horde or some alien race visited Pre-Eternia. Did this happen? Also, can anyone elaborate on the fighting foeman?
The Fighting Foeman, I know that wasn't that another kind of early concept, but then they took the box art from the monogram, as I call them, the monogram writers, and turned them into the Fighting. Yeah, those, just to let you guys know, are, the Fighting Foemen that you see in classics, that is not the Fighting Foemen that would have existed in the past. They are based on the monogram box set writers. It's the ones, and some people are like, what the hell are you talking about, Joe? They made Roton, they made the Talon Fighter, and they did Attack Track, and they were model kits, and they were cool as hell. And I remember my dad, he was going up and down. While I would go in the toy aisles, he always went to the model aisle for his cars. He was like, Joe, you got to come here and see something. And I remember walking over thinking, oh, great, I'm going to see a car, because I didn't care about model kits. He was like, look at his He-Man stuff. I was like, what? And those three things, they're freaking awesome. But anyways, there's little writers on each one. Some you can barely see who they are, and they turned those into the Fighting Foemen. But, yeah, I don't think there's really
It was a shitty faction that was forced into and they were depicted as bad guys, which made no sense. It was a shitty bio. It was just more or less a way to make new characters, which is fine, but to make them such, I don't know. I didn't like getting them. The blue skin one that was the writer of the Roton, Dick Destroyer. It was such an odd name.
The Dick Destroyer.
Dick Destroyer. I just recall that because it was one of Nightlick's, wonderful inventions.
Thank God Sky High did not pop into that.
Named after people who worked with the Four Horsemen too, I think is what it was essentially. I think. But
I don't remember much about classics. Yeah, I don't remember much about that. So yeah,
they're nothing really other than that was a name that was going to be used. It was dropped, so Scott thought it'd be cute to turn into a small faction, and it's just a lame idea. If you like it, great, but that's all it was really. There's not much to it, honestly.
Papa Hood 69, Fans of Power, your thoughts on Horde Prime? Because honestly, in my opinion, he's an unnecessary villain.
I could not agree more. I liked him as a kid, but as an adult, I do not like the idea of Horde answering to anybody. To me, he is the top of the food chain when it comes to the Horde. To know that he answers to this all-powerful, beyond galaxy being, like, I thought it's just so unnecessary. I don't like it. In my own personal canon, Horde Prime does not exist. Hordak is the alpha male of the Horde.
Is in the cartoon, you're right. As a kid, I mean, it was intriguing. I always wondered what the hell he was. And then when we seen the UK version that's how he debuted in his form. I always thought he looked like, like some kind of insect guy. It was weird. And I had a conversation with a couple people from the UK. I was like, what were your thoughts? And the majority, they kind of liked it. But some did not at all. Yeah, they liked it. Like, well, it's cool. Finally get to see it. And others were like, that's not what I thought he would look like, because they were expecting, some menacing. I always say in my mind how I envision it was, you hear that Horde Prime has 2 heads, because you remember as a gift he was going to get those. So I figured, all right, if this thing exists, I can't see it as being a giant robotical creature. I always said Wizard of Oz, some kind of weird creature behind a curtain that controls this to look menacing, and if they ever unveiled and showed him, he probably wouldn't have looked intimidating at all. But yeah, for the cartoon, it's like, Hordak is the main bad guy, and it was always weird to think he would answer to somebody else. So as a kid, it was just different to see, but it just never really resonated. Like, even if he was somebody that Hordak was supposed to answer to, even as a kid, it never really resonated that, this is the guy that's badder than Hordak. Hordak was still always the main guy. It's like, I don't like it when, the main guy is now second. That'd be like somebody coming on to, Eternia, and now, okay, Skeletor, now you got to answer to this guy. I would hate that just as much, so.
Yeah, not everything's got to be Darth Vader and the Emperor, to me, that's what makes them, like, the top dog villains, is they don't answer to anybody. Their minions answer to them, but, King Hiss doesn't answer to anybody, Skeletor doesn't, Hordak doesn't, Mask and Chakotay, Mask answers to Cody, but you get the point.
Yeah. And I forget
As answers to nobody but himself.
Like Grim said, Joe, you forgot that Hordak, and he are brothers. All their relationship stuff, I think that just went right over my head. Like, what? Doesn't he have like a little nephew? Is Zed his nephew? Who the hell's Hordak's nephew?
It's not everything that the Shiver cartoon did was perfect. And yes, I ignore that as well. Uncle Hordak and all that silly shit. No, just
didn't even answer to that little skinny shit Darkney or some other guy. Didn't Hordak have to answer to that?
Yeah,
guy?
Inspector Darkney. Yeah, just
I was like, great, another guy. I always said, fuck him.
Yeah, not every episode of He-Man was great. Not every episode of Shiver was great. There was some turds in there.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up with one last question. Gavin the Nerd says, I'm starting to build a vintage Motu collection. What are necessary figures to get from the vintage line? I would say all of them.
That line. I mean, that's where it begins and ends there. And to private. And now, granted, anything that released over Italy, or over in Italy or in Europe. I mean, God bless you if you got the money to buy it.
Do they get more expensive? It's crazy how
and they're getting more and more. I mean, it was scary how much the Tower Tools, Scuba Tack, and the Cliff Climber, how much those things are not in box.
It's crazy.
So, it is. But I will emphasize Jitsu, Clamp Champ, Clawful, Cobra Khan, Web Store, Fisto, Night Stalker, Stridor. I like to push the characters that just aren't represented that much. The 85 I dare say is probably the next 87 is the best one. Cyclone,
Airglow, Saurod, Squeeze. I mean, they're all just
Blade. Yeah, there isn't a bad figure in that entire lot. So yes,
and I want to give props to. No, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I want to give props to the ones that get so disrespected, and that's the Energy Zoids. Because those are the ones everybody says, they don't look like He-Man figures, they look weird. But goddamn were they fun. Like I said, with that top feature that they had back in the day, you spin them and they just spun around and knock the shit out of your figures. Those are cool, and they're very unique. So you're right, I can't think of any vintage figure that you really think, that's just crap. I mean, there's one I'd like to say, but I'm not going to be an ass. No, I am going to be an ass. I hate Stratos as a figure. I hate him. Good in the cartoon and mini comics, but goddamn do I hate that figure. So remember, give him a staff. Give him a weapon. Give kids something to enjoy. Unlike me, because I hated
obviously, Joe's imagination was like an erection that just wouldn't happen, because if he could not envision Stratos being a badass as a child, Joe's just not going to get it up. He just
I hated it. I would go like this. Goddamn do I hate Stratos. Oh, no, I hate him, but there we go. We all have one we don't like. Maybe.
I got a little fun product placement here. I got one of Emiliano's stickers from Redbubble of Icer.
Oh, nice.
And I decided to put that on my, he's got like a whole slew of, funky designs. Yeah, if you go to Redbubble and you just type in Icer, Hoove, Vizar, he's got a whole slew of these kind of designs of their.
Does he have Modulok?
Yes, Modulok is on there. He's got.
Well, I'm going to get him on Sky High.
Okay. No.
I'm going to make them.
But yes, there's quite a few on there to choose from, and I thought Ice would be quite fitting to put on my Yeti here to keep canned drinks cold and stuff like that too. So I just thought I'd do a little product. Cool. If you want some fun stuff to put on, get you a bunch of Emiliano stickers, or there's some other really cool He-Man. I got some Errol McCarthy artwork put on my other tall Yeti too, of the He-Man fighting Skeletor on the T-Rex. Had that put into a sticker, put on my other Yeti in there too. A bunch of other stuff on there also. But
speaking of dinosaurs, I'm going to get Emiliano to do a Zuva Rex. We got to get Zuva Rex into that, and I'm going to put that on.
I can't get him to do a Blade or a Squeeze. How are you going to get him a Zuva Rex?
Would you shit your pants if he did Zuva Rex? Could you imagine that? Everybody's like, "Who is this guy?" And I'm the only one praising. Zuva Rex, he's fucking awesome. Like, still don't know if this guy. It's going to happen.
It's because Tyler's a jerk. If you want some, if you want some stuff, you want some shit on some T-shirts, click that link down below and go buy some of Joe's T-shirts. So go ahead and plug that, because Joe.
You get this one.
Joe never
Who doesn't want this? I redrew this Demonic Duo, and I drew that in an homage to Batman and Robin. I did Hordak and Skeletor. That's all me. This is the first thing that I did draw every little bit. Usually the others I'll look and I redraw and add new stuff, but this was all me. I'm proud of it.
And you took down the Clamp Champ design. You only have Scareglow
well-
up there. You need to put that shit back up there, Joe.
Yeah, I will. Got to do some more drawing and new drawing and other stuff. So yeah.
Well, yeah.
You know-
Where's the rest of them I asked you about? Like King Randor and Blade and Buzzsaw Hordak and Squeeze and.
You want to hear
Ninjor.
one weird?
Hey, what about this? What about this? Because I was going to ask you about this the other day. What about Ninjor's dragon logo with the sword? Like, couldn't you put that on a design?
I think Liberty's with me doing something. Because here's a weird thing, and this shocked the hell out of me. I got a notice from Nintendo from TeePublic. They took down my Masters of the Universe version of Zelda, where I made it bit by bit with squares. My own He-Man, my own Sorceress, my own Flames, where it was like, it's dangerous out there alone. Take this with you. As an homage to the Zelda thing, Nintendo had that taken down. I was like, are you fucking kidding? I see people who take the image of that Nintendo screen, put it on TeePublic, and they sell it like, oh, no problem.
I also see people doing versions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles using Zelda also. That's still up there all the time. So I don't. There's people
It blew my
posting.
mind.
I mean, flat out like original artword that's used in comic books and stuff that's up. I'm like, holy crap! I'm like, hey, look, I got Storm Shows, the card blast and various other stuff that's obviously not violating something or tweaks or whatever. So I don't
Yeah.
get that. But
That shit's weird.
It blew my mind. That really freaked me out, though, because, I mean, that was one of my best sellers that I did. And I was like, this is not your images. It's an homage to it, but, I mean, this is, I mean, I'm doing my spoof, my spin on it, which you have every right to do something like that. I did not take their image and say, here you go. That was completely different. So, I don't know. Maybe it's because I titled it, take this with you or something. I have no clue, but I'm going to redo that.
Yeah,
'cause I
you
think that's
should.
horseshit.
yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. Because if others are getting away with it, then yeah, you have every right to have that
But-
up as well too. I don't.
But
understand that.
Nintendo is very weird about anything with their stuff and their IPs and properties and people mimicking them or parodying them or whatever.
Yeah, I guess Omega Supreme said Nintendo is crazy on fan art and
Yeah.
fan games, so maybe they just get real touchy. But either way, yeah, I do appreciate you guys. Like I said, giving an acknowledgement to the shirts that I do, and yeah, I'll have some more.
And
Awesome.
and if you want a custom, Facebook page is down below. Shoot Joe a message. Be like, hey, I want this. And he'll make it happen. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm sure he can do it.
I had a blast doing that. The shells for those minifigures of a Castle Grayskull, and
Yeah, those looked really good.
gave new. Yeah, man, they really exploded. Fans were wanting it like crazy. I was like, hell, I could turn that into a mini play set. I sculpted floors and did all the interior stuff, and I knew what was going to happen. I was like, I'm not going to spend the time to make a micro chair, a micro elevator, and then do the trapdoor feature. I was like, are people actually going to say something if I don't do that? Sure as shit, they were like, where's the elevator? Where's the chair? I was like, no, not going to do them.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm going to have 30 orders of that. Yeah, I'm going to sculpt that chair 30 times at the size of a fucking smaller than a peanut. But whatever. But no, it was fun to do. I had to jazz it up, make it look cool, and people liked it. And I appreciate all the support everybody gave me on that as well, because that one was probably one of my most liked and shared customs in a long time. It was kind of weird. I didn't know it would go that nuts.
Support Joe.
But I'm not
Give,
gonna
him,
keep talking about
give
myself.
Joe your money. Zen Brown mentioned this. I'm going to throw this out there. He's like, we didn't talk about the latest page reveal from James. I figure what we would do in terms of that, since they're dropping every week, we would wait a couple weeks, let a couple pages show up, and then we can show them off and give our thoughts. That way it's not
Yeah.
just every week. Or we could. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll figure something
And
out.
like you said, not next Sunday, but maybe the Sunday after. You said we might be off while you're doing your moving and stuff. Then Nathan.
If all sticks according to plan, the closing date would be the 28th. So we would be good to start moving then, like that weekend. So I would say don't expect an episode on the 30th of August, and we'll see how that week goes and progresses into that weekend. There's a lot of things in the air in terms of that, but I would say the 30th of August, I wouldn't expect an episode. We'll definitely be here next week for sure.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, I think we got everybody in the chat room. So if we missed anybody, apologize. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And so again, for anybody that is new to this channel, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell so you can always be notified when we go live. And until next time, have a powerful day.
Well, I got a little secret for you, boy. You up for a court martial? You ready to go to trial?
Child's Play 3?
My Cousin Vinny.
No.
Well, a 30-second delay. I guarantee you JSP is going to jump up and get this. He gets it every damn week. So in another 20 seconds, I'm sure he's going to pop that down there. I have no clue.
Curtis Ackerman did ask really quick, since Tyler kind of doo-dooed all over doing the Golden Disc of Knowledge, if we could do a discussion on the Cosmic Enforcers and Council of the Wise at some point, if anything.
Did you mean Council of Elders or?
I read it as it was.
To me, Cosmic, like, there's only one Cosmic Enforcer. Like, I've never really. I mean, and we can, yes, Curtis, we can do a discussion.
I know he likes Xanthor because I know he likes Xanthor.
He does, but that's kind of what that's kind of played out of. But it's never really been expanded on. Because to me, Zodak is the only Cosmic Enforcer. It's just him. And that's it. He is the only Cosmic Enforcer. Like, I know people have kind of liked the idea of it. It's like the Green Lantern Corps, where there's like a whole slew of them. But that's kind of how far my opinion goes on it. Like, I've never really been a big fan of having a multiple Cosmic Enforcers. I know when we had John Atkin on a while back, I know he's a big Zodak fan. I can't remember if we touched too much upon that or not. Go back and check out I think the second John Atkin episode that he was on. We do a Zodak discussion on that one. But yes, we Curtis is a loyal fan, and we can do that too. And so yes, it may not be the most enthusiastic commentary, but
we'll get some.
I'm not opposed to doing it, Curtis. So you have my word. We will do Golden Discs of Knowledge.
All right. And JSP said, I guess he said, not every damn week when I said he gets it right. So he said Biloxi Blues. That's his guess.
What? No.
All right. So what is it?
It's Dolph Lundgren and Universal
Oh,
Soldier.
damn it. It's been so long since I've watched that.
I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah,
either,
but you got the mind for the movie quotes and stuff. When I watch movies, half the time I'm not trying to like remember all the dialogue.
Well, I'm not either. It's just, I mean, but both you guys, that's how Joe and I took off on the movie discussions, and same thing with Nathan. Like if there just has to be, certain quotes. If I quote basketball, Nathan knows what I'm talking about. If I quote Die Hard, Joe knows what I'm talking about. Maybe.
Yeah.
There's certain films I can quote you guys, and you guys will both know. But if I keep quoting the same movies every week, it's kind of boring. And Nathan has that theory that if I post a movie on my Facebook cover, then therefore I've watched it. I'm like, I'm going to end that shit immediately.
When he
I could have quoted Enter the Dragon since I did watch that this weekend,
it
but then there's like, say you had it for your Facebook cover photo, man.
Yep.
So
yep. No, that's what you do. He still does that. He changes his Facebook cover photo like every day, and I'm like, all right, well, this is what he's really into right now, or he just watched that movie. So that's where that mindset came from. And Fedmon, you and Emily are moving to a bigger house. Does that mean baby? Hell no. Never baby. Why would I want to bring a child into this crazy planet right now? No, never.
Yeah, I can't see any of us being fathers.
Well, I mean...
Nathan cracks me up. One last quote, because I know Nathan cracked up. I think it was Jeremy DeWitt talked about he was driving home in the dark and ran over something. He didn't know if it was a turtle or whatever. And Nathan said something along the lines of, good, I'm glad you ended it. What did you say? Something like...
I'll find that real quick before we...
It was so fucking like, that's a happy thought.
Before we wrap it up.
It was basically along the lines of he was glad this fucking thing was put out of his misery in this shit world or something, but... I'll let you read it before, and then I guess that'll be the closing thing.
Does Jeremy still do his podcast?
Yeah. I think it's been a little harder for him because they usually do it in a room together when they record, and with everything going on, it's a little tough.
Oh, okay.
I have to scroll because Jeremy's got so many memories that he keeps sharing all the time. All right. You want me to I'll just read this out to you guys. Driving home from a gig in Pentwater, singing my ass off to Doze by Red Hot Chili Peppers. My favorite off of the album, by the way. So the song is just ending. I'm feeling pretty nostalgic and happy when, bam, totally ran over some large creature scuttling across the highway, which in 1 second I had to check out. Looks like a cross between a giant turtle and a platypus. I couldn't even see it in the rearview mirror because it was pitch black. Poor thing I killed. Now I feel all bad and stuff. So then I just went in and commented, "You spared it from having to spend another minute on this shitty planet. Probably did it a favor in the long run."
What a happy guy! Yeah,
what a way to end the show. I mean, I won't get into details.
So you guys tell me I'm negative? You gotta hear some of the shit that comes out of Nathan's mouth.
Well, mine's from a worldly perspective. It's not about toys and stuff. It's about how.
Well, yeah, Nathan's more like life is pain. Why are we here?
I mean, sometimes it's like
Cheers.
that, and then the way that the way everything's been going lately on the planet, it's kind of tough to just be like, you wake up and just feel good about everything. I wake up and it's not that I'm afraid to, but you kind of dread it. I'm like, all right, well, if I open Facebook or if I open Twitter, what else caught on fire today? How is the world getting worse? I don't know. Just every day seems to get worse than the next.
All right, and what? I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Joe does his
there we go.
His
Joe's back to
like
normal.
knee jerk, like okay, well, it was a great episode.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to end it on a downer, but I mean, it's tough out there for everybody. Like mentally, I feel like this pandemic has done a lot. As Tyler's camera screwed.
I hate the fact that I'm afraid to go to the movies now, and all they're doing is playing nothing but old movies. And I'm just like petrified about going for. I didn't even go see Jaws. It was playing less than a mile from my house.
Yeah.
And I convinced myself that, like, I don't know. Plus, am I have to go in there and tell someone to shut the hell up?
Yeah. It's just.
You know, Lost
Somebody
Boys
tried
is
to call
playing
me.
a mile
That's
down
what-
the road. I'm like, I'm afraid to go see Lost Boys. I'm like, this sucks. Movies are doing nothing but playing movies I want to go see, and I can't go see them right now. It sucks so much right now.
And
That's
know,
why people
I
should
will
never
say
call
this.
me during the show. That's what froze me up. Somebody called me during the show, and then it locked it up. I had to decline the call.
Gotcha. But that I don't want to end it on a downer. It's just that's the way the world is right now. Whether you're red state, blue state, whatever. It's just kind of crappy for everybody right now. So I hope we see a day soon where things feel somewhat normal, or we can try to treat each other with more respect and blah blah blah. Like just.
And that there's a He-Man line that we all could embrace, and I'm not just the lonely black sheep that doesn't like anything and hates everything and is so mean to everybody and angry, grouchy son of a bitch.
Anyway.
He needs to, not be so angry about stuff, and it's just toys. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
we'll end it on a good note. You guys PM me, and I'll send you some nudes. So,
yeah.
Of what of you?
There we go.
yeah, I think that'd get the world excited.
Just-
so.
Well, how many conversations Joey goes under? Hey, look at this picture. Look how nude I am. Just.
He
And
probably
all this is me showing part of my face, like, oh god, that's
Oh, no,
what
the
he meant
mask
about
is on
me.
everything,
That-
and Joe's like photoshopping himself like on like pictures of like Playboy.
that's all he's worried about. He's probably like, he would send us a picture. It's like from like that perspective of just his dong and balls like going up to his face, and if you see a little bit of his face, he's not worried about us looking at his dick or anything. He'd just be like, oh no, my mask is like partially off my face. Where are we going?
Oh,
Where are we
God.
going with this?